guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Maddison Hill, and yes, it is time for another pop-off with Maddison. For today's pop-off, I'm going to be talking about the Prince Harry and Meghan Markle Oprah interview. While I was watching it last night, I asked on my Instagram, do you guys want a full pop-off on this or a mini pop-off? And overwhelmingly, the response was full pop-off, so I hope this does not disappoint. Now, this interview was 2 hours long, and a lot of royalty was spilled, and I know some of you aren't quite as interested in the royal family or don't quite understand why this is such a big deal. If you are one of those people, then this video is for you because I'm going to fill you in on the big takeaways from that 2-hour interview. That way, if you don't feel like watching it and you don't feel like dedicating 2 hours of your life to the interview, you'll at least know what people are talking about and the big things that were discussed. And at the very least, I know if you're here, you love yourself some piping hot tea, and that's exactly what this interview was. I'm sure at this point you guys know my personality. You know that I am definitely one of those people who loves the royal family, loves researching the royal family. Am I waking up at 3 a.m. to watch the royal wedding in my Sunday's best and eating tea and crumpets? Probably not, although I do enjoy a good high tea. But still, I wanted to put it out there that I definitely am one of those people who likes reading about the royal family. I've watched The Crown. I've watched pretty much every single documentary there is out there about Princess Diana. So this is definitely a subject I'm passionate about, and I'm excited to talk to you guys about it. So let's not waste any more time, get to those big takeaways, and start unwrapping those facts. Now, for those of you who don't quite keep up with the royal family, or for those of you who don't understand why this interview was such a big deal, a while back, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle made the huge announcement that they would be stepping down as senior members of the royal family. They moved to Canada for a period of time because they wanted to stay within the Commonwealth and they wanted to be able to serve the Queen when they were called upon. But then a lot of drama and things ensued with obviously Prince Harry, Meghan Markle, and the royal family, that now they're residing in California and they have officially been stripped of their royal duties and titles. Now, as far as those big takeaways from the interview, first off, right off the bat, Oprah made it clear that Prince Harry and Meghan Markle were not being compensated for this interview, and they also had no control over what questions were to be asked, and they also gave Oprah full reign to ask whatever questions she wanted. That was very important to be noted because there were rumors, especially circulating in the UK press, that Prince Harry and Meghan Markle were getting paid for this interview. And essentially, at this point, the reason why they're doing so many interviews is because they just want their side of the story to be heard and their side of why they left to be heard. As far as other big takeaways, I think one overwhelming theme that was discussed continuously throughout the interview was the lack of protection that Prince Harry and Meghan Markle felt from the royal family. For example, especially when it came to the press, Meghan Markle noted that when she first started dating Prince Harry, she was told that she would be protected, and she genuinely believed that she would be protected, and that did not happen. She actually had a quote that really resonated with me, and the quote was, they were, quote, willing to lie to protect other members of the family, but they weren't willing to tell the truth to protect my husband and I. Now, right there specifically, I believe she's talking about Prince Andrew. If you guys don't know about Prince Andrew, he is a son of the Queen, and there is a lot of, in my opinion, concrete evidence out there that ties Prince Andrew to Jeffrey Epstein. And the royal family has stood behind him. They have defended him. They have put out countless statements defending him and having his back. But yet, when it came to a simple story of pure gossip, like the fact that Meghan made Kate cry 2 days before their wedding over a flower girl dress, something that was not true, and actually the opposite happened, as Meghan revealed, the family stayed absolutely silent and let the UK press just tear Meghan apart. Keeping with that theme of lack of protection, Meghan also revealed that after her and Harry got married, there was a time where she felt extreme loneliness. And that's because she was left by herself. She knew that was part of the deal. She understood that Harry had to leave and travel and work, and she never really took issue with that. It was more so all of the other factors, the fact that she wasn't going anywhere and the press was still ripping her apart. She even mentioned that at one point she only left the house twice, and I think it was 2 or 4 months, because people were telling her, you need to lay low. If you lay low, they're not going to talk about you. You're putting yourself out there too much. And she was like, hello, I have barely left this house. Like, how am I putting this on myself? Regardless, Meghan revealed that she just went through an incredibly dark time when it came to her mental health. It got so bad to the point that she shared she was having suicidal thoughts. This is something she spoke to Harry about. And then obviously together, they both went through protocol and asked for Meghan to receive help. Meghan said said, you know, here's where I'm at. I need help. I need to go away for a little bit. I need to get healthy. And unfortunately, they were denied help at every single turn. And that lack of protection and support was another really big red flag for them, and feeling like they needed to do something and they needed to change their situation. In addition to that, this lack of protection was also emphasized when Harry and Meghan were expecting their first child. Meghan discussed that when she became pregnant, she was told that her child would not receive a royal title, which Meghan says was breaking protocol. Now, based on what I've researched, that actually is in line with protocol. Based on what I've read, essentially the only great-grandchildren to receive titles are those of the eldest child and those of the heir, which is why William's children have the titles of prince and princess. So I did want to put that out there, but according to Meghan, she says not giving their child a title was breaking protocol. She says that the title wasn't really an issue to her. That's not that important to her. She felt that that was probably more important to Harry. But the thing that was really the big issue for both of them was the fact that their child would not have security and would not have protection. That was something both of them could not comprehend, especially given how Meghan was being treated in the press and being treated in the public. During this conversation was also when Meghan dropped the bombshell that there were questions regarding how dark her children's skin color would be.
And also concerns and conversations about how dark his skin might be when he's born.
What?
Which I have no words for how horrendous and awful of a question that is. Oprah also was very shocked by that question. Now, Meghan did say this was not a question that was asked directly to her. Somebody asked Harry this question and he relayed that information to her. Neither of them revealed who asked this question. The only hints we have are Meghan said that she would not say who it was because it would be damaging to this person. They would not be able to recover. And when Harry was asked about it, he immediately tensed up and said he will never reveal the contents of that conversation and he will never reveal who asked that question. My personal theory, and I'm gonna say it, and UK people, I'm sorry if this is wrong and you don't agree with me. Personally, I believe the person who had this conversation with Harry is Prince Charles, aka his father. Now, the reason I believe that is because at one point during the interview, Harry mentioned that Charles was not taking his phone calls. He also talked about how damaged their relationship is. Overall, for some reason in my gut, I just feel like he was the one who brought this up. Also, off camera, Prince Harry did make it clear to Oprah that the Queen and Prince Philip, aka his grandmother and his grandfather, were not the people who asked the question, and Oprah revealed this during an interview on CBS. Another large theme of the interview, which I've already kind of talked on with this conversation, is obviously the issue of race and racism within the UK press and the royal family. Harry had absolutely no problem calling out the UK press for their blatant racism against Meghan, and Meghan also did not back down from calling out the racism she experienced in and outside of the family. On top of that, the last thing I want to discuss before we pop off, and I know this has been a lot, you guys, but again, this was a 2-hour interview. I'm really doing my best to condense it. The last big thing that I thought was interesting were the parallels between Princess Diana and Meghan Markle, and this is something that has been discussed, but for me, during this interview, it was the first time I really saw it, and that's because Prince Harry brought up the fact that at the beginning of when Princess Diana was introduced to the public in the royal family, and at the beginning when Meghan Markle was introduced to the public in the royal family, they were received very positively. And the moment they stopped being received well by the family was after their Australian tour, which is something they both took after their wedding. During the Australian tour with Princess Diana and Prince Charles, she overshadowed him. People were obsessed with her. People loved her. People were not so interested in Charles, which she didn't like. Nobody in the family liked. He was incredibly jealous of that. Harry and Meghan took their Australian tour. Meghan received rave reviews. People loved her. People related to her. The Commonwealth saw representation of themselves in somebody for the first time from the royal family. And Harry alluded to the fact that people didn't like that and people were jealous. And I just felt like, for me, that was the first time that I was like, duh, Maddison, the parallels are there. I do want to make it clear that while yes, Meghan and Diana did have similar experiences, and I saw it for the first time during this interview, Harry made it clear that Meghan's experience still was different because A, there is a race aspect, B, social media did not exist when Princess Diana was alive, and that is a huge factor in negative attention. And C, he said that, you know, the press has become more brutal over time. Okay, so I know I've already been kind of popping off, but let's not waste any more time and get to a shambong. I know y'all are like, Maddison, this is the longest unwrapping in the past we've ever experienced. And trust me, I know there's a lot. All right, so first off, I want to be completely honest with you guys. Although I love the royal family and I love learning and reading about them, I was not the biggest fan of Meghan Markle prior to this interview. I don't know what it was. I just felt very indifferent about her. However, after this interview, I have the utmost respect for Meghan Markle and Prince Harry because I literally cannot imagine what Meghan Markle has been through. And honestly, what Harry has been through too. He has lost a lot. He's essentially lost every relationship with his family. I will say I'm happy that Meghan and Harry were given a platform like Oprah to speak their truth and to share their side of their story. Whether or not you agree with it, whether or not you think they're crazy, whether or not you think they're money hungry, regardless, I think that everyone deserves to share their side of the story. And I'm happy that Oprah was able to provide such a comfortable and open and honest place for them to do so. And I really think that Meghan Markle handled herself with the utmost poise. I felt like she really did a great job during the interview. And like I said, I have the utmost respect for her because I cannot imagine being in that mental headspace of people just freaking dogging on you every day. Kind of going off of that, I also want to say I think the way that Harry and Meghan discussed race and racism in the UK press and in and outside of the royal family was very enlightening and very productive. And I hope that it promotes change here within the US, in the Commonwealth, in the royal family, and just overall. For me, as someone who has done a lot of research and reading on the royal family, I think one thing that was confirmed during this interview, and I'm gonna say it again, is that Prince Charles is actually the worst. He is the worst. The fact that he is the heir to the throne is the worst for me. And I just think the way that he not only has treated his son and his son's wife and his grandchild is terrible, but the way he treated Diana was terrible. And I think Prince Harry has finally really opened his eyes to understand the treatment that his father put his mother through, that the family put his mother through, and the public put his mother through. Overall, do I think that Meghan and Harry are looking to make a living out here in the US by using their story and using their titles and their clout and their pool? Absolutely. But honestly, after what they've been through, I can't blame them. I can't blame them for wanting a different life. For them, this decision, I think, was truly life and death. And Harry felt like he had to do everything in his power to protect his wife, his children, and his family. And he did what he felt is best. I hope you guys enjoyed this pop-off. Like I said, I know it was really long, but there was a lot we needed to discuss. And I wanted to make sure we could get into those key points. That way, for those of you who didn't want to watch the interview, you knew what people were talking about. So I hope you enjoyed it. I want to hear your thoughts on the Prince Harry and Meghan Markle interview down below. While you're at it, please give this video a thumbs up. Please make sure you hit that subscribe button and don't forget that notification bell. For more celeb content, you can follow me over on my Instagram and my TikTok. And while you're at it, don't forget to check out my merch store at houseofhill.com. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.